All right, guys, what is going on? Eric here again. So, um, you already know what time it is. We're going to go ahead and jump into this trade review. First and foremost, I got to apologize, guys. I haven't been able to make these videos as quite often as I wanted to. I've just been, very, very busy, just dealing with a lot of things. And so especially since coming back from the vacation there, I'm just trying to catch up on a lot of stuff. So I haven't been having a lot of time to do what I want to do. But hopefully in the meantime, you guys have been studying and learning and, banking on these alerts here and stuff like that. So, I'm still doing my thing. I'm still trading and stuff like that throughout the day-to-day basis. Just haven't been able to put time aside to make these videos. But hopefully going forward, I can, get more time to do that. I'm still working on the advanced trading course for you guys to be able to kind of sharpen your tools. But we know today I had to do a video, okay? Just because of what happened, this $37,000 trade. This is probably one of my bigger trades. It was better than, no, I don't want to say it wasn't as good as DWAC, but it was still a pretty good trade, and this thing went crazy. So just wanted to kind of recap in this video here what happened, what we were looking at. Those of you that were in the chat room and the alerts, you got to see it hands down real time, which was great. I know a lot of you guys banked on that as well too, and not only that, but also there was a lot of other trade alerts and opportunities for you to make money today. So congrats on that for you guys. So I'm just going to recap this trade here as far as what I was looking at, um, and really just kind of briefly go over the whole entire day. But it's a pretty quick day. Once that run up was done, then I pretty much called it a day. I do got other things I needed to get to, but I'm on kind of, taking a little quick break here before I go run around and take errands. So I figured I'd run this video here for you guys real quick just to kind of give you a recap. And those of you that know, I tell you all the time, if you miss this one, there's always another opportunity, another chance. And the alerts will help you get there. There's plenty of people in the chat room that's willing to, give you advice and help you out. That's the whole purpose why everything, is so cheap, just to kind of give you that opportunity. I don't want money to be a barrier from you to being able to come, a great trader, but also you want to have that opportunity to be able to maximize, the profits that you can. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this trade here with NRBO, and let's see how this $37,000 trade played out here, okay? So let's just kind of start from the beginning, how everything kind of folds out. As you guys know, aside from what you're seeing here on the screen, on my other screen too, I just have like, Thinkorswim with the 9 different charts, there for me to just kind of look at setups, right? You know me, I'm a momentum trader. I'm going to look for those, things that it's going to give me some strong signs of momentum. Now, coming into the actual market, of course, you had the watch list there, giving you pretty much all the, things to kind of look out for in the beginning, which was pretty much this, right? So we had that to look at, and, CPI numbers came out today, so it wasn't really much to kind of, you know, look at because, of course, markets were red. Today, they ended the day red. It was bleeding, just because the CPI numbers were worse than what they expected. But let's just kind of take a look at how NRBO came into play, okay? So, AKRO was a good trade too for those of you who got into that one. We got a couple of alerts coming here. So by the time I actually got up, it was a little bit late. I was tired. Actually, I had my game yesterday, so I really wasn't able to get up as early as I wanted to. Still got up at a decent time, obviously good enough before the market opened, but a little bit later than what I expected. So I didn't get no pre-market trades, and I got up and I seen that a lot of you guys were already kind of banking on those, which is great. That's what the alerts are for, to help you out with that. But by time, that came across my eye with NRBO, I was looking at all these other accounts like, okay, everything had already either ran in pre-market, so I'm not going to take that chance. And the CPI numbers being out kind of slowed everything down, and the markets were kind of waiting, for all that. So me, I'm going to play the reaction, not try to guess what's going to happen beforehand, okay? So I'm waiting it to open and bell, right? Now let's take a look here at NRBO. Obviously, this never really wasn't on the radar beforehand, but it had a little bit of movement in pre-market. Now, what happened to kind of caught the attention for everybody was that it had a reverse stock split today, 1 for 30. That basically means that with the reverse stock split, it's kind of the opposite of the stock split. Basically, with the stock split, you take one share. Let's say if you have a 1 for 5, that one share that you own, it would turn into 5. With reverse, it's the opposite. You have 5 shares, it's going to turn into 1, kind of thing. So basically condensing, which a lot of times is kind of a decent sign for companies depending on, what's going on there. But this was pretty much the catalyst behind that. And behind that movement. Not to say that every time there's a reverse stock split that something like that is going to happen, but it is just something to keep an eye on, and that could be the potential for the actual movement of the stock. Now, what really caught my eye here, obviously we got the catalyst there, so that's fine, and it was alerted. So I'm looking at it. I pull it up on the chart here. And this was at 6:33, so it was around this time frame. So I'm waiting for the opening bell to see how stocks are moving, compared to the CPI index and things like that, which is one of the things I tell you guys to look at the overall market picture, and then look for the outliers of things that's going to run. So I'm looking at that. NRBO comes up, and then pretty much it was halted. Halted in the red market can mean a few different things. One, the stock is either going to pull back and drop, or it could run. I mean, obviously, there's only two options you got, really. It's not going to stay stagnant if it's going to be halted. But, it halted, so I sat there and watched it a little bit. And it was halted at $19.73, right? And so this was like 3 minutes into the market, which is like right here. As a matter of fact, that's where we're at right now, okay? So pretty much you got that alert right there to kind of look at the stock. Now, I pull up that stock and I'm looking at the stats. What do you think really caught my eye here? And I told you guys in the chat room too, like real time, hey, the reason why I kind of went in heavy with this one was because of the fact that that float was very, very low. You guys know normally, I tell you, hey, the lower the float, the better, because I know what? I know that there's more opportunity for that stock to move, greater, much easier, as opposed to something with a huge float. It's going to take a lot of people to move that thing. It's like trying to move a rock and, trying to move a boulder. I can throw a rock a lot easier than I can throw a boulder. Okay, so the lower the float, the easier it is to move. Now, this only had 365,000. Normally, I'm looking at stocks that have 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 40 million at the most when it comes to shares float. But if you only have that much, obviously me taking a position of 1,000 shares can definitely not only make it move quicker if it's in the right direction of what I'm anticipating, but also make me more profitable. And so knowing that this stock was in the thousands of range when it comes to float, I'm thinking in my head, okay, if I go in on this stock, I can go in heavy and can potentially make more money if I'm in it at the right time, okay? Now keep in mind, I didn't enter this stock until $24, I believe it's like 24.17. So let me see. It's like right around this area here. Oh yeah, I was trying to catch that tip. I remember that. So it was pretty early when I caught this thing. Now you might ask, well, what caused you to want to, get into that trade? What did you see? Like, why did you want to get into that trade, right? So first thing, when it was halted, I tell you guys all the time, look at level 2. What is level 2 showing? This stock was halted a few times, and I sat through all of them. I think except for the ones when it started to pull back. And I'll kind of talk with you about how I, started to scale out because I was, taking my profits because of the fact that it was starting to die down. But it was halted, and I've seen it already trying to jump to like 30s and 35s and, on the level 2 here on the bid side. So if you got people, thinking that that stock is worth that much, that's great. On the sell side, it really wasn't that much. You had a few here and there, but, it wasn't really many that was trying to cash out very quickly. So obviously I'm getting the idea that, hey, this stock can potentially run a little bit more versus, if I get in, at a different amount. So right here at this point, also too, if you look, opening bell, everything is giving me a bullish signal. The price movement is above the exponential moving average, is way above the VWAP. It's all blue. I mean, sorry, blue. It's all looking bullish. The relative strength wasn't that far, so I'm thinking this is a good risk to reward management, because I mean, if this pulls back, then I'm fine. So I'm willing, again, my account is a little bit larger than most people, but if you kind of get the idea, obviously compounding your account will grow. But these right here is what ticked me off, especially after a little halt there, because of the fact that, look at these candlesticks. You guys know your candlesticks. You should know your candlesticks. I teach them to you. But if you don't, these are all, this right here, this area right here was all good news to me, especially since this was happening above the volume weighted average price and the exponential moving average. I'm like, great. This is awesome. Okay. Obviously, you got your isolators telling you that everything is still green here, which is great. And then it broke another high. So at this point, I'm up, $4 and change. I'm like, this is great. So, staying green. I decided to let the trade ride out as much as it could until it starts to pull back. However, it kept getting halted and halted, and every time it was halted, level two here was never showing no signs of, more bears coming in because there was not many sell orders trying to get executed for one reason or another. And as you can see, we kept getting alerted. Hey, it's open. Hey, it's halted. Hey, it's open. Hey, it's halted. It's a little tricky because look, it's halted at $26, open again, went to 30, halted. I mean, it just kept hitting high days, high days, high days. So I'm sitting there letting the stock ride out, ride out, ride out. Okay. Usually at this point, especially if you went in as heavy as I did, I'm gonna go. I typically would want to take my profits there at that point, because I went in pretty heavy. I'm anticipating the stock to start to pull back, and it's still early in the day. Where we were about not even an hour into the market open, so I'm like, okay, well maybe now it's time to pull back. However, what kept me in it was the fact that when it got halted one more time, the final time you could see in the level two that there was orders in there going to like $60 to $90. I was like, whoa, okay, well, if people think it's worth that much until I get confirmation that I need to pull out, then that's fine. Now, even here at this point, it got halted. It's in the 40s, right? You would think, Eric, well, you should have got out on that dip, right? That was a big dip. Guys, that's a washout. You got this big old red bar here. Nothing in the isolators are telling me that this is starting to pull back yet. This was just a washout to knock out stop loss orders that people set hard stop losses with to fake some people out that is about to turn who don't know what they're looking for. But this right here was honestly just an opportunity to buy because of the fact that it was still in such bullish signals of everything else with isolators, relative strength, and things like that. And these are all lagging. If you looked at level two, it was showing you like, hey, that was just a few orders being taken out by the market makers. And then, if you just hold it for a little bit longer, see where the price action is moving after that, because it was halted here. Not enough people panicked enough to sell it, and it kept going and kept going and kept going. And so by the time it got to like the 60s, I decided, you know what, that's more than enough. And like it was mentioned, in the alerts, hey, don't be greedy because the spread started to get wider as it started getting up here. That's another thing that you guys need to understand. Your spreads, the closer the spreads is, the more opportunity it is for you to get in and get out, and shows you that, the price still isn't, solidified there at that point. But as the spreads keep getting larger and larger and larger, that just means that traders are becoming more indecisive as far as what they think the stock is worth. So that's going to, of course, slow up the bids and the ask orders that are coming through there, which is also going to cause the stock to turn because remember, market makers have to execute these orders. Okay. So I seen that kind of coming up there and I started to, decide, hey, you know what, it's time to let go. So we had a little bit of a pullback there and it bounced and I decided to get out like right there. I almost caught this thing at the top, but it wasn't, quite there. And obviously you get confirmation right at this point in the 50s that, it's starting to cross over and you'll see that the price action and the spread was getting wider and it's starting to lower down and the volume starting to slow down. And obviously at this point, we're almost at lunchtime, but it had a great move and price action and level two would show you all that just because of the way that it was moving. Yeah, the market is red. However, this thing is fighting against that and it's easy for it to fight against it because there's such a low float. And obviously that's just bringing more eyes in and more eyes in and more eyes in. Okay. So that's pretty much overall how that trade went. So you kind of see how that's important to kind of know. Obviously, yeah, I got in at a good point, but also to keep in mind, this trade could have went the opposite way. It could have went south, right? And I already had mine set to the simple moving average, which is this red line here. Like, hey, that was going to be my, willing to take a hit. So I risked, my risk to reward ratio wasn't too bad. That would have been roughly around, the $20 area. So if anything, I probably was risking about maybe $4,000, at that point, which is okay for me. Now, if you're a different trader with a different account size, stuff like that, maybe that 4,000 risk to reward might want to be 400, or maybe it might want to be $40. Doesn't matter. As long as you have that in your plan and, you're willing to execute that and stick to that plan, you should be okay. And this, of course, if you're consistently wrong on that, you just might want to look into retuning and refining your trading strategy. And, again, I know this seems like a lot, guys, but I'll be working on this a lot too in the advanced trading course to help you out with that, like risk management and things like that, and just kind of like the psychology behind it, because a lot of that stuff is not talked about. It's touched on, but it's not in too depth and detail to where it's going to benefit you if you're a new trader. So I'm going to work on that for you guys. But I mean, that's really overall how this trade went. And I'll post the results here. You guys already have it in the Facebook. Go look at the Facebook group. The link's below in the video. If you don't have access to the Facebook group, just click on it and join. I mean, it's a free group. I mean, we just talk. I just post my trades in there for you guys to kind of have. You know, just kind of show you like, hey, this opportunity is here. You don't need to trade every single stock every single day. I mean, we even said that the admins pushed that towards you guys in the, you know, actual group saying, hey, you don't need to trade a million trades. You just need to have one trade and, you know, stick to it. Okay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, a good day, $37,000 day. So one of my best trades, probably the best trade I've had so far of 2022. Don't let no one fool you. Yeah, it's a, you know, overall probably like a bad market, but there's always opportunity in these markets, especially with small caps. And that's exactly what I focus on and try to teach you guys. So again, I hope this video helped you out. I'll get ready to do the watch list later on today. It's after hours right now. I'm going to go take care of other business. If you guys have any questions, you know, let me know. I'll post the results here at the end of the video. But, you know, if you like this stuff, guys, if these videos help you out, like, subscribe, do all the above, share it with a friend. I mean, that just lets me know that it's actually, you know, helping you guys. And that's what I wanted to do. So, you know, I'm going to stick to it. But if, you know, if none of that stuff happened, I'm assuming you guys don't need it. But so, yeah, just let me know. Thanks for the feedback for you guys in the chat room. I'm glad the changes that are making it, you know, it's helping you out too. But let us know if there's anything else that's needed. Other than that, man, you know, let's get ready for tomorrow. Stay green. If you guys have any questions, just shoot me an email, post it, tag me in the Facebook group, follow me, TikTok, Instagram, all the above, whatever. I'll be there for you if you need me, all right? Take care, guys. Stay green.
All right, guys, you know the routine. If you enjoyed that video, please do us a favor, show some support and hit that like button. Give us that thumbs up. Let us know if you enjoyed this content. Comment below. Let us know your thoughts. We love hearing from you as well, too. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions about anything whatsoever. Be more than happy to help you out. Until then, stay green.